Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to the Nectar of Devotion. I think we have most of the people here already. So I just want to begin here with this little kirtan for the Gosvāmīs. It is written by Srinivasacharya. Krishna kirtana kanana kana paro Premamritambo nidhi Dira dira jana priyo priyakaro Nirmacharo pujito Shri Chaitanya kripabaro bhuvi bhuvo Paravantarako Vande Rūpa sanatano raghuyago Jivam gopalako Nana shastra vicharanai kanipuno Saddharma santapako Lokanamita karano tribhuvane Manyo yaranya karo Radha Krishna padara vinda bhajana Nandena matadiko Vande Rūpa sanatano raghuyago Jivam gopalako Vande Rūpa sanatano raghuyago Jivam gopalako. Translation of the last verse. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Gosvāmīs, namely Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, Śrī Sanatana Gosvāmī, Śrī Raghunath Bhatta Gosvāmī, Śrī Raghunath Das Gosvāmī, Śrī Raghunath Bhatta Gosvāmī, Śrī Raghunath Das Gosvāmī, Śrī Jiva Gosvāmī, Śrī Gopal Bhatta Gosvāmī, who are very expert at scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. And thus they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendent loving service of Radha and Krishna. So, welcome everyone today. I just want to check here to see who all is on. And, okay, people, Raghu, Renuka, Shulas, Michael, Bashwati, Narayan, and Raju. Nice. So, today we're covering more of the 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. Here again is a nice picture of Śrīla Prabhupada in the courtyard of Radha Damodar Temple as he's chanting and also preparing to deliver his lecture on the Nectar of Devotion, written by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī.
Roger.
So, in particular, I don't see him. Today, we just covered this verse here. We sang the Sri Gosvāmī Astika. And the translation we read. So, review quickly. Anya bilashata shunyam jnana karmari anavritam anukulena krishnanu-silanam bhakti-ruchite uttamam. Bhakti uttamam. So, devotional service is what? It is, first When first-class devotional service develops, it must be devoid of all material desires. Knowledge obtained by monistic philosophy and fruitive actions. And devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. Another definition here. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatparattvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti uchate. Bhakti, or devotional service, means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of all the senses. When a spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and one's senses are purified by being employed in the service of the Lord. So both of these are the verses from Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu, the source of Nectar devotion. So last week, review of what we talked about. Your devotional service is reference to Svarup and Tatashta Lakshana. And then pure and mixed devotion. So 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. Kleshagni, Subhada, Moksha Lagutakrit, Sudurabha, Sundrananda Krishna Karshani Chatsa. So again, Kleshagni brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distresses. And Shubhada, the beginning of all auspiciousness. Moksha Lagutakrit derives even a concept of liberation. Sudurlabha, rarely achieved. Sundrananda, Visheshatma, automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure. And Sri Krishna Karshani, pure devotional service, is the only means to attract Krishna. So, in terms of these 6 characteristics, in sadhana bhakti, we see kleshagni, freedom from distress, and shubhada, development of all auspicious qualities developing in the devotee as he is performing sadhana bhakti. Then, as he moves into bhava bhakti, after clearing all his anarthas, he would develop this moksha lagutakrit, that pure devotional service far exceeds the happiness of moksha. And sudurlabha, it is very rarely achieved. So in other words, he's on a very unique platform, coming very dear to Krishna. And finally, Krishna Prema concludes all the other 4 categories, plus Sundrananda Visheshatma, intense bliss, and Sri Krishna Karshani, the only way to attract Krishna. So on the stage of Prema Bhakti, one is actually attracting Krishna and experiencing intense bliss. So we talked about Kleshagni, material suffering is destroyed. Now I'm going to go through this a little bit of detail because I thought it was a lot of material and I want to make sure you got it. So the review is going to be more than we'll usually do. Your devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distresses. 3 causes of suffering: papam, reactions to sins; bijam, material desires; and avidya, ignorance. So the living entity is suffering as his reaction to his previous sins. He's suffering because he's filled with more and more material desires. And finally, he's covered with ignorance of his true self. He's identified with the body. These cause great suffering for the living entity. 2 kinds of sin, sinful reactions. Those that are immature and unmanifest, and those that are mature and manifest. Aparabdha and parabdha. So those that are not experienced but are coming, and those that are being experienced in this current life. Okay, Kleshagni. Let's see. Okay, here, Kleshagni. Because in his mind the devotee may still maintain the remnants of previous sinful mentality, the Lord removes the last vestiges of the enjoying spirit by giving his devotee punishments that may sometimes resemble sinful reactions. Although a devotee has surrendered unto the Lord's lotus feet until he is completely perfect in Krishna consciousness, he may maintain a slight inclination to enjoy the false happiness of this world. Basically, what this is, that we, as devotees, may be observed to having what we might call karmic reactions. And they may even cause some suffering. There may be struggles, anxieties going on. And these are all directly given by Krishna so that he gives up all his previous desires to enjoy anything in this material world. Tatenu kampa sushamikshamana bunja, one too far. Bunjana evadma kritam vipakam hridvag vapu vir vidadan namaste jiveta yomukti pade sadayabak. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions to his past misdeeds, and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. Again, indicating the devotee patiently endures whatever Krishna gives him that appears to be his previous karma, and goes on with his devotional service without stopping, without interruption. And by doing so, he will attain the mercy, the full mercy of the Supreme Lord. Here, that Prabhupada sometimes indicated applied to his life. The personality of God had said, if I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken man abandon him, and this way he suffers one distress after another. So, getting Krishna's special mercy, which we often pray for, may mean that Krishna will take everything away, and everyone, all the friends and family, will become uninterested and abandon one. So, not to scare you, but just to say how Krishna deals with his devotee. He wants him out of this material world and make sure that there is nothing that he's going to be interested in anymore. So we talked about early stages of Krishna consciousness, beginning with Shraddha, developing a little faith, a little glimmer of faith, that perhaps the Bhagavad Gita has some important knowledge for me to learn, or that these devotees seem to be very special persons. And based on that, he wants to hear, he wants to move into sadhu sangha, associating with the devotees. And as he associates with them, he hears about the process of devotional service from them and from reading the scriptures, like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and then he tries to seriously take up the process of devotional service. As he's taking that up with more seriousness, he hits the stage of anartha nivritti, where he has to get free of all the unwanted attachments and offenses. So, in this stage, anartha nivritti is when a person would probably be looking forward to becoming initiated. He's already initiated, and he's trying to make progress. But it's a very bumpy road, even though it's very urgent to get through it. This stage feels like very choppy waters, and this stage troubles the devotees the most. It's a very important milestone in our spiritual journey, and we must make it with all endeavor to cross it. It won't happen automatically. And we find that devotees may seem to get stuck here for a very long time if they don't diligently try to become free from offenses and material attachments. So this stage is where the offenses are greater quantity, are more serious than the bhakti. And as he moves out of this stage, then bhakti becomes more predominant in his life, which is natural at some stage if he gets free from all these attachments and offenses which are weighing him down and causing him to feel like he's on a roller coaster. One minute he's feeling ecstatic and enthusiastic, and then he gets all his attachments and he turns away again, up and down, back and forth, trying to figure out, can I do this? What do I want? And he struggles with these reactions. So here now we're talking about where we are in the Nectar devotion. That after the Sanartha and Nivritti comes Nishta, firm faith and steadiness. His commitment to serve Krishna is constant. He doesn't want to be interrupted, and he's got firm faith. Yes, this is the purpose of my life. This is what I'm dedicated to. So then the anarthas, due to bhakti, past sins and pious activities, and all those offensive reactions are completely gone. And then the offenses due to the holy name are reduced significantly. And though no longer committing conscious offenses, but more likely he's unconscious, unaware that he's doing something. So gradually then he moves to ruchi, deep taste. Ashakti becomes very attached to Krishna. Bhava experiences deep spiritual emotions. Prema finally reached the stage of pure love for Krishna and attains Krishna's lotus feet. So, 3 causes for suffering in Kleshagni. Ignorance is the beginning, misunderstanding who he is, thinking himself to be the body. Then the material desires build. From that, sins, sinful reactions accumulate, and then suffering. So these are the nature and causes of the suffering. Vices or sins in their different stages of development are analyzed here. Balan mukam, sin which we may be undergoing right now. These reactions, Prabhupada says sometimes it's illness, sometimes some financial problems, sometimes it's legal problems, other kinds of problems in life. Bijam, vice, these are the seeds. They're going to continue to cause them to create more and more sins. The sin is there in the seed form and it's going to fructify. Kutam is the stage just before Bijam, in which is some germination. It's becoming ready to sprout. And Aparabda, the fountainhead of all sources, of all that is the vicious life, in all other stages. All these stages of vicious life become at once switched off by the adoption of pure devotional service. So this is the power of pure devotional service. This whole cycle is immediately eliminated, cut down to nothing. So during the time of initiation, he is completely free from all sinful reaction. Completely free. And the spiritual master takes all the reaction of his sinful life. Of course, there's a little footnote on this. And one devotee said, Prabhupada, you're taking all the sinful reactions for all your disciples. You know, we're offering, as temple presidents and leaders here, we're saying this devotee should come to you, and then if he later, you know, you're taking all the reaction. And don't those who recommend share any reaction? Prabhupada said, yes. Those who have recommend, they share the reaction. At least 50%. So if someone falls from the path of devotion and again takes up sinful life, there's reaction. That is suffered by the spiritual master. Prabhupada details that in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the devotee feels that he does not want to cause suffering to his spiritual master. So there's another impetus for him to remain free from any kind of sinful life. So this papam sin, aparabdha, unmanifest stages, we don't see what's happening. It's there, it's going to come, but it's not come yet. Prabdha, it's manifest, we can see the person suffering, but then there's unmanifest reactions. The part of the manifest is also a propensity to do the same sin again and again, just like a criminal. And more seeds are created. Sinful desires. And the unmanifested reaction got a little bit off. The unmanifested, what you don't see is this propensity to sin. And that comes again and causes him to go through this cycle again and again, which is called birth and death. So the sinful desires he can only be removed by Krishna consciousness, and easily accomplished by chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna mantra, recommended by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are many snakes on the ground of the forest, and when the forest fire takes place, it burns the dry leaves and foliage, and the snakes are immediately attacked and killed. Similarly, the blazing fire of Krishna consciousness is so strong that all the snakes of ignorance are immediately killed. As referenced from the Nectar of Devotion. So, what is this pure devotional service? Is the best means from attaining relief from all kinds of distress. So devotional service has actually the power to nullify all the reactions to sinful deeds. The sinful desire seed, desire to do the sin again, can be removed only by achieving Krishna consciousness. So there's no atonement process that removes this desire seed. Like we see in other religions, they confess their sins, but then the next week they're back saying, I've done the same thing again. And because this seed for sinful desire has not been removed, but devotional service, pure devotional service can remove that seed, that tendency. Krishna consciousness is so strong that it kills the snakes of ignorance immediately. One becomes completely aware in knowledge that he is not this body. And he's not meant to engage his life in the interest of enjoying sense gratification. And that, therefore, Krishna consciousness, Bhakti-yoga, is the only process that counteracts these three causes. So let me go back for a minute and open up and say, who wants to have any questions or comments here at this stage?
Yeah, I have a question, Hare Krishna. So the unmanifest reaction, is that from a previous life, karma?
It may be, yes. Oftentimes it is. It's something that he's, let's say, now he did something, he acted in a certain way, and now he's going to get a reaction. So unmanifest means reaction is coming, but it hasn't happened yet.
But it can happen this lifetime, or it could be from previous lifetimes. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? I know I went through this a little fast because we covered this all in our last class. Narayan, I hope you can follow it. Was it a little too fast for you?
I joined a little late.
What's that?
I joined the class a little late, so I'm still going through.
Okay. But I'm looking here, Narayan, our student. You're there. What were you saying, Narayan? He's being quiet. So, anyone have any questions here on this first stage of relief from all distress? What are the causes of distress? What are the stages of distress? What is the relief of the distress? How the devotee faces the reactions he does experience? Any questions about that? I know this topic should hit us right at home because this is exactly what we are experiencing. We are meant to be coming free from all distress and be advancing in Krishna consciousness if we're practicing correctly. Now we're going to learn more about that in upcoming weeks. So I know some of you did the homework. I seen that not everyone understood all the parts of the questions. I did upload the slide presentation, the PowerPoint, for you to look at all the details that we discussed, and then you have the book to read as well. So hopefully if you have any other questions, please let me know. I may not answer you immediately. Like today, I spent some time responding. Last couple of days, I was preparing for this class, so I couldn't answer. And some other important activities. So, should we go on at this stage?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, this is, now we're going to the remainder of chapter 1. If I can get there, let's see. This will be lesson 4, the 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. We covered the first one, Klesha Agni. So number 2, Shubhada. Pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness. That sounds very encouraging. And what does that mean? Well, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī has given us detail. To be auspicious, one must, 1, benefit everyone. 2, it should be attractive to everyone. 3, it should produce good qualities. And 4, it should bestow superior happiness. So if something meets all those 4 qualities, those 4 qualifications, then it's all auspicious. Benefit everyone, attract everyone, produce good qualities, and bestow superior happiness. Only devotional service can do this, and nothing else can do this. So this is very important for us to understand that when we are practicing, we are getting these benefits gradually, but also when we're preaching to others, explaining to others, that this is going to elevate their lives so that all auspiciousness will come and they will get relief from all distresses. So why wouldn't someone want to become Krishna conscious? Well, the problem is he's still covered with material attachments and material desires, so he's still in a state of ignorance. So let's go on and see what else is going on here. And attract all. So these are two qualities. Must benefit the first and attract everyone. So Prabhupada describes this is better than United Nations. United Nations seeks to unite all nations and put them in peace, but devotional service is superior and much successful at doing this because it's on the spiritual platform. Then Prabhupada makes a claim that everyone can be attracted to this movement. And what is the evidence of that? We can see that this movement is going all over the world, on every continent, and every major country. Every major culture in the world, people are joining this movement and getting benefited. So it is universally attractive. And, of course, what is the result? They feel the result. It's not like some can get a result and some can't. No. No matter what your background, what your birth, whatever your location, you can get the results. There is no disqualification. And spreading Krishna consciousness is, of course, the highest welfare work. We say that, but now we can see that because it benefits everyone, attracts everyone, produces results for everyone, it's the highest welfare. It's the best thing you can do for anyone. Some people may try to eliminate some forms of suffering, like building hospitals or feeding the poor. But this Krishna consciousness addresses the highest form of welfare work and relieves people of all their suffering and bestows on them all good qualities. What other process is capable of doing that? And it is most best service and most pleasing to all living entities, even the animals and plants. Lord Chaitanya demonstrated this as he was walking through the Jarikandra forest. And as he was chanting, all the animals, the tigers, the lions, the deer, and everyone were becoming peaceful and friendly. And they were relishing and enjoying his presence. So developing qualities. Developing all good qualities, or we say saintly qualities. Now here I want to go in and discuss this here because we'll cover the points and then I'll give some detail here. So first, if one has unflinching faith and no duplicity. If one is duplicitous, he's proclaiming interest in one level and doing something else, not following, then all guarantees are off. If he is following and he has complete faith in Guru and Shastra and his devotees, then he will get good results. And the good qualities are those like those of the demigods, the highest level of living entities. Their civilization in Swarga is far beyond practically our comprehension because their the standard of activities are so high qualities. Modern education produces people with dog-like habits. Very interesting. So it's not just an education process where people can learn about what proper behavior is, because modern education is incapable of changing people's nature. We see sometimes very highly educated people with very low-class habits. And then we have also yoga. Hatha yoga people practice that. But still, in the common age, now in this age, people are trying Bhakti-yoga all over, and they actually practice it so they can continue their sinful activities and enjoy them better in some cases. So the benefit of those is not to develop good qualities. And of course, the devotee is giving up all his previous bad habits. So when we say saintly qualities, sometimes we are thinking, okay, I have to now I have to learn how to practice this and practice that. And there is an aspect that we do want to have good qualities, but the point is, these qualities are coming from Krishna, with or without cultivation. They come automatically as one develops devotional service. So not that we ignore them and we continue on with bad habits, but rather we will develop good qualities simply by the practices of devotional service. So what else? The next one is about superior happiness. So happiness, 3 types of happiness. Sense gratification, happiness from liberation or Brahman realization, and then happiness from devotional service. So remember, those are 3 broad categories that Rūpa Gosvāmī indicates, where people might say they derive happiness. So devotional service is superior to the other 2, because only devotional service gives eternal happiness. And one may say, well, happiness from liberation may appear to be eternal, but actually it is found that persons take up and achieve liberation, but then because they have no proper activities, they again become attracted to material life again. So without becoming involved in devotional service, the platform of liberation is very difficult to maintain. So the next point is that devotional service includes and excels all other forms of happiness. So it's not that one takes up devotional service and he's devoid of any material happiness or any of the feelings of one gets from liberation. It's all included, but far exceeds all that. So therefore, it is superior. There is nothing that is greater than this. So Lord Chaitanya revealed himself, this is an example of the superior happiness, to his confidential devotee, cultivator Śrīla, and offered him any opulence he liked. But Śrīla informed the Lord that he did not want any material opulence. That is the position of pure devotee. So Śrīla, he had a particular occupation. Does anyone know what that was?
I know.
Oh, Ananta says she knows. What is it?
He was selling bananas and banana leaves.
Yes, he was selling bananas and banana leaves in Bengal. And if you know Bengal, some of you do quite well, bananas and banana leaves are quite common, available almost anywhere. So his services were not producing a great amount of income. And in spite of that, he would spend 50% of his income to worship Mother Ganges. And still, Lord Chaitanya said, I'll give you any opulence you want, and he refused. Why? Because he simply wanted to see the beautiful face of Lord Chaitanya when he came to buy his bananas, and argued with him and tried to take them without payment. He was so happy, so enjoying so much bliss in that exchange with the Lord, that he didn't want anything else. So, questions on this Shubhada? Now remember, this comes during the practice of sadhana bhakti. Which is, the practices. Those who are practicing under regulated principles, different activities of devotional service. Shravana, Kirtana, Smaranam, Archanam, Bandhanam, like this, different activities. So questions, comments, need more clarification? Let me know if at all I'm going too fast. So everyone seems quite content. Or is there something wrong? Nobody can hear me.
Clear, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I have a question.
Sure.
So, how can we distinguish the happiness derived from devotional service and the so-called happiness derived from material things?
Well, first of all, happiness from devotional service will not increase our material desires to enjoy. Happiness from devotional service will not cause us to turn our face away from trying to execute pure devotional service. And that happiness of devotional service is far superior. If the happiness of material experiences were considered a drop, then the happiness of pure devotional service is like an ocean. I don't know, does that answer your question, or are you looking for something more?
Yes, true. I think the idea is like, or someone may say, that it's like an ocean, but I'm finding it hard to get it. But when I eat in a restaurant, I feel happy. Or when I go to an amusement park, I feel happy. Or when I go for a movie, I feel happy. But when I do bhakti, I'm just stating some commonly asked, things.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we help to understand that this bhakti happiness is higher and like an ocean, but because one is not actually experiencing that ocean happiness, but when one goes to amusement park, one feels happy. So how can we understand or help someone in that situation understand that this is much higher and better?
Well, the first result we know is kleshani. The material distresses are reducing, and the cycle of sin and karma and suffering is being broken. And that is the real main concern. Everyone's trying to cover their suffering with little drops of happiness. But those things, if they were satisfying, why do you have to do them again and again and again to be satisfied? Because they don't last. As I recall, you go to an amusement park, the first thing that happens when you leave is your wallet is empty. And the kids are crying and screaming, why do we have to go home? Doesn't exactly seem like happiness at that point. Yes, the senses engaged with their sense objects give some experience that one may want to call happiness, but it's very temporary and is completely inferior. If you were to say you're hungry and I give you a dry cracker, or would you like a nice gulab jamun? what is the comparison between the two? And that's not even a good comparison, but still, the dry cracker is like, yeah, I ate something, but it's basically tasteless. It gives very little benefit.
Thank you.
Prabhuji,
Yes?
can I add one thing? It might not be correct example,
But just try to speak into the mic. So
yeah, I'm close to the mic. It's okay?
Yeah, now it is.
So during our satsang, Saturday satsang, we came across these questions again and again. So I used to give the example, like when we were kids, I used to like to play, but my father used to force me to study. I used to cry and study. But he was telling that if you study well, then you'll get a good job. You don't have to struggle like me with less money. We don't have a lot of things available because my father is a little earning person. And we see good students getting good jobs and happy. But it comes after 20, 30 years of studying or hard work. So same thing, when you do devotion, it might not be happy at the beginning or early stage, but if you keep doing, gradually it becomes after years later, depending on how seriously we do, and that happiness will fill. And that's why we see the monk, they or sadhus, they don't have family, but they are in their life without anybody and they are happy. But they say the movies, seeing a movie might be happy for now, but doing that bhakti might not be happy at this point, but will get greater happiness after few years, depending on our devotion, but it will definitely come. But we have put the trust in it because we see the senior devotees and sadhus and maharajas, and if we continue, definitely we'll reach there because they're getting that happiness. That's why they're still in the sadhu. They're not coming out of it and become a family person like us. So,
yes, well, that, of course, the indication from those people is that they're getting a taste which is superior, and therefore they're giving up. They're uninterested in the lower taste. Krishna describes it in the Bhagavad Gita, that one becomes situated in the platform of transcendence by giving up the lower taste and accepting the higher taste, even though there may still be a desire for the lower taste. Still, he ceases those lower activities. Just like if someone comes to Krishna consciousness and he is interested, he sees the devotees are nice people and he likes the kirtan and everything and nice prasadam. But if he tells you, yes, but I still like to eat my meat, so then what will be the help for him? How much can we help him? He won't give up the activities that are going to cause him great suffering. He is going to be cooked by the agents of Yamaraj in the fire for all the times he's eaten meat. And yet, he thinks that's superior. Whereas devotees are enjoying Krishna prasadam, offered to Krishna, relished by Krishna, full of love and devotion, and free from all sinful action. So, what is the comparison? There's no comparison. In the beginning, Krishna consciousness may seem a little bitter, difficult, because especially we have some restrictions. But that bitterness, like the sugar candy given to someone with jaundice, he can't taste the sweetness because of his disease. But gradually, when he becomes cured by taking the sugar candy again and again, his natural taste for sweet returns. But one thing I will mention, and this is kind of universal, that unless one is a gross offender like meat eater, he will be able to relish the sweet taste of kirtan, because in kirtan, it doesn't depend on his own personal determination, his own personal level of Krishna consciousness. He can gain so much from the others who are there participating in the kirtan. So that taste they can get. And then if they change their diet, change their habits, gradually they will experience a better, more peaceful, happy life, free from more and more of the sufferings. Just like, many times one time Prabhupada was, I forget what he was doing, and something happened, he cut his finger. And Prabhupada then was offering his appreciation, "May dear Lord Krishna, I was meant to lose my whole hand, but instead you just gave me a little cut on the finger." So Krishna reduces our suffering. Just some token. But we can talk about this all day long. If someone doesn't try it and experience it, they will have no idea what we're doing.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes?
Yeah, very nice point you made about a person with a disease, a jaundice, even though we give him a higher taste of Krishna consciousness, or candy example. So, but my question, Prabhuji, how will we make them realize that they are diseased? Because, if we are diseased, then we go to the doctor and doctor will treat us. But how will, if I'm trying to, give this Krishna consciousness to someone, of course, we try to give them the book or whatever sometimes, right? But they don't accept because they don't know if they are deceased.
Well, that requires that you have to give them some taste. If they have a little attention and willingness to hear, you can explain about how we're not these bodies, and that happiness from these bodies, the senses, engaging the senses, is inferior, is low quality. For example, if we see the people who are living in the forest, uncivilized people, and we see what their life is like, we're not interested in doing that life. They may feel they're getting some happiness by chasing some animal and sticking with a spear and cooking it on a flame, but that has no interest to us. Living in the forest, sleeping on the ground, and so, yeah, they think it's some happiness, but it's not. So if they want to hear, you can explain how they're not this body, and if they start to get the idea, then they can begin to understand that they've been looking with the wrong vision. They don't actually understand how they're living and what their experiences are. Like if you look, example, and there's a fog, you cannot see actually what's there correctly. You may think one thing is going on and it could be something totally different. And usually is. So that's one aspect. And of course another aspect is, if the person's not ready to hear, or they call them, in book distribution they call them ripe fruits. Persons who have had some sufficient bias activities and enough suffering that they're willing to hear something different. Generally, if people are, too many times they're puffed up, are attached, their mentality is not allow them to understand. But by repeated contact with the devotees, they're giving them the piety they require. That's why we do Harinam in the streets. We're giving them a chance to hear the holy name of Krishna, which imbues them with enough piety that they can take to Krishna consciousness. We give them prasadam for the same reason. We try to get them to take a book, same reason. They may be ready, they may not be ready. It may take multiple experiences. Bhakti is completely independent where and who it will go to. But it is, Krishna gives the power to his devotees to try and offer it to someone. And if that person is willing and takes it up, then it's their good fortune. Does that help?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
You know, we give them some good experiences. That's why we invite them to our festivals. We invite them to our kirtans. We give them prasadam. To give them some good experiences that help them become qualified. And if they get that seed, that little glimmer of faith, then they will want to associate with devotees again. Other things? So let's go on. We have more. Moksha laguta krit. Those in pure devotional service deride even the concept of liberation. Happiness of liberation is inestimable. Inestimable. Maybe that wasn't spelled right. Estimable. The question is that liberation means no more suffering. And this is like what the Buddhists, as an example, are endeavoring for. They're seeing that all kinds of desire gives them suffering. So they give it up. They don't want any desire. They want to be zero, no, void, nothing. Because their material experiences give them a bad taste of suffering. So there's some happiness in that. No more suffering. But it's nothing compared to the happiness of Krishna consciousness. This is the bhava stage, remember, where one is experiencing some exchange with Krishna, experiencing spiritual emotion. So the happiness of devotional service makes that happiness of liberation seem insignificant. Maybe like if you see that your child is very happy by getting a little toy to blow bubbles, and the kid seems very happy, how much happiness will that give you? It's very insignificant. All other forms of happiness that exist are following, like attendance of the queen. That means devotee is not missing any of these other happinesses. They will come as well. Sudurlabha. Very interesting. Pure devotional service is rarely achieved. So even people, Krishna, what does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita? How many thousands of men, one is interested. And out of those, hardly one knows me in truth. Hardly one attains pure devotional service. Very rare. Why? Because it cannot be achieved by one's own effort. There's nothing we can do to get that pure devotional service. It's not an automatic process that you studied so many subjects, you get a degree, and now you've got it. No. According to Nectar devotion, in the preliminary stage of spiritual life, there are different kinds of austerities, penances, and similar processes pertaining self-realization. But all such endeavors can hardly offer anyone devotional service to the Lord. Not even if one tries for it by such processes for many, many thousands of births. So our own efforts won't be enough. And it's just the example that one time Lord Chaitanya was having these for 1 year. He had these nocturnal kirtans in the home of Srinivas and Srivas Angam. Excuse me. And one night he was having the kirtan. He says, "But something is wrong. I'm not tasting the bliss tonight." Said, "Who is here? Someone is here who is not a member of our group." And they looked around, and finally they found him hiding behind some water pots, a brahmachari. And one devotee said, "Yes, but he drinks only milk. He doesn't eat anything else." And Lord Chaitanya said, that is not a qualification for devotional service, that he only drinks milk. As an example, Krishna rarely awards this pure devotional service. Why? Krishna rarely agrees to offer a soul devotional service because by this devotional service, the Lord himself becomes purchased by the devotee. Krishna gives himself to his pure devotee. He's not going to give himself to anybody. He does it to only those who are completely qualified and ready for it. And that is Krishna's choice. Ananda Visheshatma, another quality. Pure devotional service automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure, and that is called incalculable, condensed bliss. So the bliss is so intense, one cannot even measure it. Brahmando bhaved esha chet parada guni krita naiti bhakti sukam bodhe paramanu tulam api. Bhakti-rasāmṛta, chapter 1, section 1, chapter 1, text 38. Which means, Rūpa Gosvāmī says that if Brahmananda, or happiness of becoming one with the Supreme, is multiplied 1 trillion-fold, it can still not be compared to an atomic fraction of the happiness derived from the ocean of devotional service. So, of course, we know 1 trillion is a very big number. Of course, nowadays, with the U.S. economy, that 1 trillion seems to come into our vocabulary a little bit. But even that is not even an atomic fraction. So it's they're trying to give you a scale of understanding and measurement. How great this happiness is compared to happiness of becoming one with the Supreme, or the happiness of liberation. It's so incredible. This happiness is so densely concentrated that nothing can penetrate it, no other thoughts. So obviously we don't have much experience of this, because when we're, even in the kirtan, we can be distracted. But sometimes, at some rare moment, when we're so deeply absorbed in the kirtan, we forget about our family, we forget about everything, and we're just absorbed in hearing the holy names of Krishna. So we may get that little taste of what that happiness is like, that no other thoughts can penetrate it, and that happiness of Brahmananda merging with the Krishna is multiplied by 1 trillion is not one atomic drop. That we just heard. And finally, it's incalculably greater than the happinesses experienced in sadhana bhakti or even bhava bhakti, because this is the happiness in prema. And it's a very interesting feature of this happiness that, for example, the gopis, they get more pleasure of seeing Radha being with Krishna than they do by being with him themselves. So in other words, nobody wants to replace Radha's position as the supreme devotee, and they enjoy, even Radha says sometimes, it looks like you're enjoying more than me by seeing me with Krishna. This is a principle of devotional service. So Sri Krishna Karshani, the last of the 6 qualities. Pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna. So quote from Nectar Devotion, to perform devotional service means to follow in the footsteps of Radharani and the devotees in Vrindavan and put themselves under the care of Radharani in order to achieve perfection in their devotional service. Being directly in control, under the control of the internal potency of Krishna, devotional service attracts even Krishna himself. Now we know that Lord Krishna sees the wonderful experiences that Radharani has in serving Krishna, and he wants to taste that love she's experiencing, so he comes as Lord Chaitanya. So what to speak of the devotees, other devotees who are assisting the Lord and Srimati Radharani in their pastimes. So, Sri Krishna Karshani, this devotional service attracts and controls Krishna, like he became the friend and the messenger of the Pandavas. Usually a king will send an ordinary person to be a messenger to another king. He will not send his personal friend and confidant. But Krishna agreed to be the messenger to go to the Kurus and request them for peaceful settlement before the war. And Krishna was the personal friend of the Pandavas and Arjuna. Krishna agrees to be the friend because of the level of love and purity of devotion that they have. So then Krishna becomes controlled. Krishna is controlled only by love. We heard that many times in the Damodar Leela, how Krishna is controlled by love. And this is a fact. And this is the only way to control him is by devotional service. At bhava stage, Krishna is attracted to the devotee. And at prema, Krishna is actively controlled in his leelas by the devotee. So there's a difference. There's some attraction there. Krishna becomes attracted to the devotee at the stage of bhava, but when the prema level of purity and love, intensity of love increases, then Krishna agrees to be controlled. So here again are the 6 characteristics. Kleshagni brings immediate relief from all kinds of material stresses. Shubhada, in the beginning, it is the beginning of all auspiciousness and all good qualities. Moksha Gutakrit, it derives even the concept of liberation. Sudurlabha is rarely achieved. Sandrananda Visheshatma, it automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure of the highest degree. And Sri Krishna Karshani, pure devotion, only means to attract Krishna. No other way to attract Krishna. Just like Duryodhana, he offered Krishna a wonderful feast fit for a king. But Krishna chose to go to the house of the Dura and even accepted banana peels because they were offered with love. So, we reviewed these 6 different characteristics and the stages at which they manifested, and Prabhupada's comments about these different features. We've seen again the 4 kinds of effects of sin and how devotional service has the power to nullify all kinds of sinful reactions. And we discussed the relevance of the 6 characteristics of pure devotional service in our practice of Krishna consciousness. So let me here and see. Open up for questions first. Questions, comments? You know what I'm hoping you'll get, at least at the minimum, is now a very deep appreciation for what it is we're doing, this devotional service, and how rare and wonderful it is, how powerful it is, how satisfying it is, and how we have some ways to go. So, Manmohan, what was your understanding?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. My understanding. I was thinking like adding some comment, but I didn't want to take too much of your time.
What is it? You have the mic?
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. When Shubhavila Govinda Prabhu was asking, like, what is the difference between the material enjoyment and spiritual enjoyment? Well, Prabhupada, he was using that example of camel eating the thorns and enjoying its own blood. And we usually take this example probably very easily, but or take it for granted, not really realizing its meaning. But actually, all material enjoyment is like that. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything is connected with some sort of suffering, more or less. Even that visit to amusement park, I'm sure it's not all about enjoying, because we need to get there. We will be stuck in traffic. Most likely, we will get a ticket for speeding.
Really?
Then we will be stuck in long lines. You know, for one attraction, we might be waiting for 90 minutes. You know, we might get sick sooner or later, and so many other things are connected with that.
Let's just speak how much it costs.
Of course, I mean, it's going to cost fortune. So even that trip to amusement park is connected with so many pitfalls, and or whatever enjoyment we might be thinking of. For example, like people who drink, you know, they drink and the next day they feel terrible. You know, they say, "Oh, I'm not going to drink anymore," and next time, you know, they drink again. They forget. Or, you know, when people eat, you know, people enjoy eating, they eat too much, and then, you know, they have stomachache, or whatever it might be. And so every material enjoyment is connected, more or less, with some form of suffering. And the spiritual enjoyment, it is very difficult to attain, how you have pointed out very nicely. But so when we practice our sadhana bhakti, we might not be able to get any taste for a long time. So we might be thinking like, where is this rasa, where is this spiritual enjoyment? I'm not getting anything. I get more joy from, I don't know, whatever material enjoyment. But we need to take the word of the Shastras. We need to take the word of our spiritual master, Śrīla Prabhupada, and rest our faith in their words, because they are telling us the rasa, the taste is there, and it's ever increasing. Once the practitioner gets little taste, once the practitioner starts enjoying, there is no going backward, because the scriptures are telling us that the joy is so great that it outshines everything. So once the practitioner starts relishing the taste of bhakti, then he will immediately know that the material enjoyment is like a camel eating the thorns, comparing to the taste of pure devotional service.
Yes, and I think that if one is not experiencing much, even reducing of suffering, what to speak of some satisfaction, then I think one has to look and see and inquire from a senior person what they may be doing that they need to change or fix. In the stage of anartha nivritti, one alternates between deciding, yeah, I will go back and enjoy the material world, and I will try to practice Krishna consciousness and find my satisfaction there. And because of that, he gets no steady result. So as a result, it may appear that there's not much there, but there's a reason why he's unsteady, because he may not be actually attentive to the chanting. He may be offending devotees. He may not be, giving but just an hour or two a day to Krishna consciousness and expect that covers it, like some ritual. There are many different reasons that all this could be not experienced, let's say. And one needs to take some guidance. Vashwati, you wanted to say something?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you. Very nice discussion. What I understood, I just would like to give 2 examples of the sense gratification. So suppose when I eat a samosa, when I'm taking that on my tongue, I feel, oh, it's so good. And then when it goes to the stomach, then by then it's all the taste of happiness is gone. So it's like very temporary. But for the devotional service, in my case, what I feel, it comes gradually. Like when in the Ekadashi day, when I fast and take fruits and yogurt, and the whole day during the work time and every time, like most of the time, I'm thinking like I'm doing this to please Krishna. I'm doing this to advance myself to the devotional platform. So that makes me feel very happy. And at the end of the day, when I come back from work and worshipping Lord, I feel like, oh, whole day I can feel that happiness. And that way, I think it gradually gives me that happiness. And as you said, during the Kirtan, also Kirtan, devotees forget everything and they absorb totally themselves in the Kirtan, hearing Krishna's name. With this happiness is a real happiness, and with the continuous devotional service and the Krishna conscious movement, we would be able to achieve, to feel and realize that real happiness, which never comes with that temporary happiness, comes from different sense enjoyment. I understand.
Yes, this temporary happiness has a very big price tag, which we're not always seeing. I mean, do you ever go shopping and you see, oh, I want that thing, and you grab it and you go to the cashier and they ring it up and you say, wow, it was that much. I didn't realize. Anyone ever have that experience? Sometimes it comes like that. And that is the material life. People they have every price to pay for succumbing to Maya's illusions. So a devotee has a chance to be their greatest friend and helper by giving them some invitation, some interest in Krishna consciousness. And when we perform devotional service, we should understand that the more we can, even while we're doing other activities, hear the kirtan or the chanting, or we can hear some lecture going on, that this is having a good effect on our consciousness and its devotional service. So, to be always hearing. And what will be one of the results of performing devotional service nicely? Can anyone explain what will be one of the results, the biggest important result?
Desire for more spiritual bhakti.
Exactly, yes. One gets that taste and he wants to do more and more. Prabhupada once described the mood of a neophyte. He said, he chants his 16 rounds, then he takes his bead bag and he puts it in the corner and says, now I've chanted my 16 rounds, I can do any damn thing. In other words, I can forget Krishna. I finished my 16 rounds. That is not the mood of a real devotee. The real devotee said, I've chanted my 16 rounds, now let me do some other things to please Krishna. Because he has such a taste. Anyone else? Raghu, did you want to say something?
Well, a very nice presentation. To me it looks like, it's a very, very difficult path to achieve, to really attain that Krishna conscious stage. So my question is, when a person is living at home and there are material activities that you have to go through in life. So this process looks like it's almost 724. How can one compromise between? Yeah.
How can what?
One, do this and do that. That's what I'm saying. How much? It looks like from what you presented, we have to be on it all the time. That's
your description of it sounds like it is a arduous, difficult endeavor. But if you're performing devotional service correctly, without offenses, there's going to be a taste. I want to do it. I want more of it. This is not enough. I want more of that taste. It's not enough. So as that verse goes in the Bhagavad Gita, by ceasing these lower activities and experiencing a higher taste, he remains fixed in consciousness. So when we experience that higher taste, we're not interested in these lower activities. And we want to take everything and connect it with Krishna somehow. And that's the beauty of Krishna consciousness. It's not simply some rituals, but everything we do, Krishna says, all that you do offer unto me. So he's telling us to connect everything with him. And that is what is very beautiful and wonderful and powerful. So a big factor that helps one on this path is coming to the point where he has the faith and determination to surrender to a spiritual master and become initiated. When one does that, the process becomes so much more personal and direct and, I would say, easier, definitely. Because now you have the help of one of Krishna's personal right-hand man to help you go back to Godhead. And our confidence and our eagerness and our taste should increase dramatically from that. Anyone else? Renuka or Sudhir?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu, it's like a pure devotion studies, like it's not easy task, so it needs a lot of practice and so many things to follow.
It does need some practice, but it's nice that it fulfills our day. That we never have to be in a situation where we can't serve Krishna.
Yeah. We are realizing right now in the present situation, lockdown thing, like if you are not a devotee, we don't know like what we were doing, wasting so much time and just killing the time. But the thing is, we are utilizing the time in each and every aspect for kids and for ourselves also. We are learning so many things and we are doing so many things. I didn't expect this if I'm not a devotee.
So like, you're married, you have kids. So how to connect all your activities with Krishna consciousness? It's kind of easy. You have deities in the home, so it becomes your focus of your cooking and your offering. You clean the house because it's for Krishna's pleasure. He likes to live in the clean house. You clean the kids' clothes because the kids will please Krishna if they're clean, and they'll help them be devotees. You're cooking for Krishna, you're shopping for Krishna, even though in these difficult circumstances it may be a little trying. Try to do that shopping, but still you get to say, what will Krishna want to eat today? Let me give something very special and nice. And I see that in the cooks all the time. They develop this mood. Let me make something nice for Krishna today. That is a sign of devotion. When you think like that, what will I do for please Krishna today? What will I offer him? Maybe sometimes you can find some flowers and make a nice garland for Krishna. So different things. And of course, we can share Krishna consciousness with others and help them. And Krishna says, nothing makes one dearer to him than someone who shares this with others. Nothing pleases Krishna more than sharing this with others. So tomorrow, in our strategic planning meeting, we will discuss how we can please Krishna more. Get the maximum pleasure for Krishna. And that should be exciting. Because when Krishna is pleased, what do we feel? Renuka, what do you feel when Krishna is pleased?
Is Krishna satisfied, Prabhuji? Like,
yeah, if he's satisfied, then what do you feel?
I feel if Krishna is satisfied, like everybody is happy, like all over, like he's a Hrishikesha, like Hrishikena Sevanam. So if Krishna is pleased, all our happiness, everything will be satisfied. Like.
Yes, exactly. And we feel that. I mean, we definitely feel that. I don't know how many times you cook something very nice, you give it offer it to Krishna, and you feel different. You feel very happy and satisfied. Raju, did you have something?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a really good presentation today, and I really enjoyed it. I was thinking that one of the things that I kind of wanted to share is that today I was hearing in a talk that it's material happiness that people are generally say that it's happiness, and they also advertise that it's happiness. It's kind of like for a devotee, it's kind of like you go to a mental hospital and people, they do all sorts of things, like they beat their head and they think it's happiness and things like that. But it's from an outsider's perspective, that's not at all happiness. And unfortunately, most people are in illusion, thinking that certain temporary things that they're relishing is considered happiness. But the sane person knows that knows that that's actually not. So in order to even bring somebody to bhakti, the first step is to realize that we're actually suffering in the material world, but not many people are ready to admit that.
Does everyone know who this is? He's Raju, our graduate from USF from a few years back. He was our president of Bhakti-yoga Club.
I recognize Sudhir Prabhu and Renuka Mataji here, and I don't know if I met the other people though.
No, they've come after you. You're their senior.
Oh yeah, the other devotees I haven't had a chance to meet.
Raju lives in LA now and works out there. He met Uma. You met Uma and became a member of the Bhakti-yoga Club due to meeting her.
That's right.
Krishna Raju Prabhu, Dandal Pranam. Very nice to listen to your voice after so many times. Prabhuji, actually I went to Los Angeles a few years ago and stayed with Raju Prabhu for a few days, and we had a very nice time. Prabhuji took care of me all 2 days. Krishna Prasadam, amazing. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Oh, Prabhu, it was nothing that I did. But I was very, very happy that you came. We had a nice time, Sudhir Prabhu, and happy to hear your voice too.
So Nayan, you're there also. Are you, is Trish there also, Trisha, or just you?
Mm-hmm. Just me, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you very much. Wonderful presentation. For me, I'm very fallen, and I always feel like very selfishness. And whatever I do, I feel like it's for me, it's meant for me, it's for my purification. It's not like I can please Krishna, I don't have the qualities, but Krishna gave me the opportunity to get the purification, so I can get purified. That's how, this is my feelings, Prabhuji.
Yes, certainly. We try to become purified. Now, the thing is, by getting some good guidance, you can understand what it is you need to do to get purified, what things need to be purified, what to focus on, and how to please Krishna, even while we're doing all this. Anyone else I missed? So, next week we're going to go over Chapter 2. And of course there's some homework. I'm trying to finish up. Many of you just put your homework in from Google Classroom yesterday or day before, so it takes me a while to get to look at everything. And fortunately, I'll get it back to you very shortly, and please continue to work on it. This class will be uploaded later tonight, and you can listen to it. The homework is already there. Any questions, let me know. In some cases, if people have done the homework, I think they missed a few things, I may return it back to you and ask you to kind of work on it again, a few areas. So don't be unhappy with that. We just want to make sure you get the correct understanding and do well in your Krishna consciousness. Vipul, you have anything further to say? Or Mother Sujoya?
Prabhuji, I'm good. Thanks for your nice discussion. Very helpful.
Yes, Prabhuji, this is very nice presentation today. I like that whatever you said, that Krishna consciousness is not a ritualistic. So we have to please Krishna each and every way, whatever we're doing.
Yes, it's amazing. Prabhupada brought this to us. It's just so wonderful that he made it so easy for us in many senses. It does seem like hard work because we're stubbornly attached to this material world. We don't want to stop trying to enjoy our material senses. We think this is happiness, so it takes a while for us to change our mind. But the more we taste devotional service, the more we fill our day with different services, even hearing and chanting is the primary one, the more that taste will come, and we'll want to have more and more of it. So I thank you all for attending today, and hopefully maybe next week we'll get one or two more. Appreciate it very much. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. Thank you, Ramiya Prabhu.
And, well, I have to, at some point we'll have to reach out to Karthik and see how they're doing today. They're at a very pivotal stage when his wife is going to have the baby any day now. So thank you very much. And tomorrow we will talk some more about 10 o'clock in the morning about our strategic planning. So please come back tomorrow. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.